Today we'll be giving you a TED Talk about how television works.
After this TED Talk, we want you to leave here with an understanding of television, its progression, and how it's affected our society.
That's that weird one. Walk back.
The first question, what really was television? Well, television gained its roots all the way back in 1873, where the term television was actually first coined by various engineers. Fast forward all the way to 1925, and the first television was invented by John Logie Baird. He gave the first demonstration of silhouette images in motion, and although these images only moved at 5 frames per second, it was a groundbreaking feat, and it was very astonishing.
Hello, so I'm here to tell you a little bit about how TVs used to work back in the day. To do that, I have an image displayed on the screen. This image shows how a TV would be. This is the screen of television, and this is a cathode ray tube. The cathode ray tube is what engineers produced to help make the TV work. The cathode ray tube works by having a power source typically plugged into the wall. That power source allows the light bulb to create a beam of light that will shine through the screen. The screen then has an encoded message that the light bulb shines through and projects light out of that creates the image that we see. Hi, I'm back. I'm here to tell you a little bit about how a modern television works. So right here, we have a Samsung LCD TV. LCD stands for Liquid Crystal Display. Nowadays, when an image is filmed, it is encrypted with data that shows how much of various colors each picture should display. After it is filmed, it is sent off to the cable provider. The cable provider then sends it to your home in the form of a cable box. Once the film is sent to your house, the cable box receives the message and sends it to the TV. The TV then encodes the message, and each little pixel is informed about how much of each color it should display. After being informed about how much color it should display, it displays this color. If you were to examine these pixels one by one, it would be one color, but however, after these are put together, it forms an image that we see and we enjoy. So nowadays, the knowledge we have and the technology we have given engineers the ability to do great things. Engineers have made TVs and have incorporated pixels in televisions. In the 1990s and the early 2000s, televisions had very large pixels, and as a result, the image wasn't as clear. Nowadays, engineers are able to make those pixels much smaller. Engineers are able to make these pixels smaller because they're able to fill these pixels with gas. And because gas is not a solid, it doesn't take form. So a lot of gas is able to be incorporated in a small space. With a lot of small pixels very close together, it creates a clear picture. We have an example of this right here. So right here, we have an example of a bunch of big pixels very close. As you back up, the pixels will get smaller, and as the pixels get smaller, you can see the picture gets clearer, and you're able to tell it's a baby's face.
Television broadcasting. Television broadcasting was first done by John Logie Baird, and it used his electromechanical system. This system was a grid consisting of towers that would stream live wire into your television that would broadcast your TV. At first, television broadcasting was strictly controlled by the government and the FCC. However, in 1941, the FCC showed its first leniency in allowing commercial advertisements to be aired on live television. From there, they then started issuing private broadcasting licenses to individual owners. Nowadays, we have fiber optic cables, and we also have satellites that can stream and download live into your television set. This has paved the way and incited a huge market behind television broadcasting. Television has grossed a huge mass media behind it. It is within human nature to naturally want to be informed. And through networks such as TMZ, CNN, or Fox News, television really completes that request. We can do this because since there is such a high demand for knowing and television, when there's a sports game on or a natural disaster happens somewhere, news crews will go out and they'll film what is happening, and they shoot that straight up to a satellite, and that satellite in turn beams it straight back to us and our yearning to want to be informed. Television has had a huge impact on consumerism and the television market. If I refer you to this graph, in 1975, 57% of America only had one TV set, while 11% had up to 3. Fast forward all the way to 2009, and only 18% of America had one TV set, while 54, that's half of America, has up to 3 TV sets. This shows how great of an influence TV is on the market, and how consumers love to buy televisions. Engineers provide thousands of channels for consumers. Moreover, this has created a huge competition between cable providers. If you refer to this graph, in 1980, basic cable revenue and premium cable TV revenue did not even reach $10,000. Fast forward up the graph to its progression in 2010, and basic cable and premium cable revenue grossed almost $100,000, and that is still progressing today. This says a lot about the influence television has on our market, and moreover, how much we as consumers love television and love cable television.
Nowadays, engineers are paving the way for a bigger, better future with television. Nowadays, the engineering we have and the technology we have is limitless. Because of this, we are unable to speculate exactly where television may go. However, we have ideas. We believe that engineers will create a system that will make the setting of a television show more realistic. For example, when Mr. Koppel is watching One Tree Hill, he will be able to be a character in the story, just observing the details. We also believe that engineers will be able to create a bigger and better television. For example, we believe that a whole wall may eventually be a television, and that television will be huge and have just as clear as a picture as a television nowadays, but probably better. It's
been a pleasure informing you how television works, how it's engineered,
and how it affects our society.
That's it for us today. Roll on.